Hey guys, just wanted to remind you that the Confident Trader Collective free online 4-day trading workshop is right around the corner starting on August 17th, running through the 20th. So make sure you sign up. I'll throw a link in the show notes below, but you're going to want to register. Trust me, seats are limited for those who plan on attending live. Of course, it will be recorded if you guys can't make it or just want to review the content. But if you've ever been to one of our workshops, trust me, the live experience is unmatched, especially in a workshop like this, where you guys will be creating the content. So sign up. Information is in the show notes. Enjoy today's podcast. Hey guys, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your day to join me. You guys have been doing a great job of supporting the show. We're growing each and every week. We're reaching and affecting more and more traders each and every day. And just makes the heart smile. Again, that was the point of starting this podcast, is to provide yet another source where we can spread our message and we can help traders really not only understand the reality of trading, but also help them in other aspects of their life as well, whether it comes to entrepreneurship, business, personal finance, and really just mindset. And today's episode is going to touch on many of those aspects. I'm going to share one of our accountability sessions with a trader that was new to our platform. And in the conversation, he talks a little bit about why he got into trading and kind of what he wants to accomplish from it. And he has this idea of really there being two phases to success. And phase one is, first of all, he's not looking for Lambos, right? He's not looking for gold chains and Lambos and to live this lavish lifestyle. He has a realistic expectation of what he wants to achieve. And the first phase is simply replacing his income, looking for stability. He wants trading to be something that, maybe he's not necessarily super wealthy from at first, but it allows him to get out of his day-to-day job. It brings him enough income so that he can live his normal life, but live it a lot more free, because we know that trading provides freedom just in how the market goes and the fact that you can make money while you're asleep. In fact, there's a good quote from Warren Buffett I just saw the other day where it says, if you're not putting yourself in a position where you can make money in your sleep, you're going to work for money until you die. Something like that. I probably butchered it, but you guys can Google search it. But phase one was that replacing income, just stability, right? So nothing fancy. And I think that's a really good goal. I just want to replace my life with a more free life. And then phase two is building that generational wealth, where it's giving his kids or allowing his kids to be in a position that was better than the position he started off with. So, and I look back at these, and these were the two reasons that I got involved in trading as well. It wasn't to be super wealthy. It wasn't to be rich. At first, it was just to do what I wanted to do. I've always been a stubborn person, and I remember I was just in the mindset where, I've worked hard my entire life, multiple jobs that I didn't necessarily like, but I did to collect a paycheck. And I was just tired of that. I wanted to spend some time doing something that I actually enjoyed. And I remember I actually turned down a job opportunity because it didn't allow me the freedom to do something else that I wanted to do. And it seemed ridiculous at the time, and I'm sure they looked at me like what the hell, kid? Like, we're offering you a great opportunity, you're turning it down because the hours don't work. But it was more than that. And that was when I kind of first realized that freedom of time was important. So I started trading because it just allowed me to free up time. It was a way that I can produce income. It was a way that I can live, and it was a way that I can live on my own terms, meaning I can continue to do what I wanted to do. Then as I got better, as I got more involved, I started having the bigger goals where it's like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this thing. How can I grow this into a business? How can I take this to the next level and really set my family up and my kids up for success, when they're older, when I'm no longer here? And not to rant too much before this podcast, because I do want to share a few of this interview, but later on in the interview, Jason shares a pretty cool opinion about some of the benefits of the pandemic. And, part of replacing your income instability, that's financial responsibility, right? That's financial education. And if you are a frequent of the Trading Coach podcast, you've heard me talk about the latte factor a lot, where you basically do an analysis of your spending habits and you trim the fat. And that's a great way. It's a great thing to do multiple times a year just to keep yourself on track, especially if you find yourself doing some reckless spending. And part of replacing income, part of stability when you're transitioning from one job to another, is really making sure your finances are stable, really making sure that you are kind of living bare bones, right? And the same thing goes for you guys that are on that kind of entrepreneur journey. When you're starting up a business, right? You can't afford to have all these luxury items. You need kind of the basic needs, and that's about it. And that's a big part of becoming financially stable. And what's interesting in this pandemic and the time is that we've kind of gone back to that kind of caveman basic needs type of mindset, where before everyone is spending on, going out each and every night, and they're buying this and they're buying that. But when you're put in a position where you're supposed to not really be doing much, you're supposed to be at home, barbershops are closed, and you kind of just give up what you don't care what you look like anymore. You're just roaming around with big old hairy man beards and sweatpants. You realize that you're actually saving money, because these little things that you were doing before, these haircuts are costing maybe $40 a month of getting your hair cut, or whatever amount a month getting your hair done at the hairdresser. Buying these extra clothes for just to impress your friends, to look good when you go out, that's costing you this and that. And you're really spending a lot less than you thought, simply because you're not doing the things that you would normally do. And I think that awareness is a good thing. I've always lived a frugal life personally, so I've always, I never really cared about any of this stuff, but I've spoken to a few of you guys, and it's amazing how much you've actually earned, not just in time, but earned by saving money, since you haven't been able to do things, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, without further ado, check out this accountability session. It's cool because it's a new trader. He's been on the platform for 2 weeks, so he's kind of got like a fresh new experience of whatnot. He talks a little bit about why he made the decision to come with us. And of course, if you haven't done it already, make sure you check out our 2-week trial membership on the platform. Just go to www.tier1trading.com. There's going to be a little button on there that says start your trial membership. Get on the platform. The first thing I recommend doing is introducing yourself to the community. Start networking. Use these people who have gone through what you're about to go through. Use them as support. Take their advice and invest those 2 weeks in really educating yourself, learning, and getting your mindset right for what's to come ahead. All right, enjoy.
All right. So finally, we've got Robert Leach.
Hi all.
How you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Good stuff.
How was your test yesterday morning?
It was all right. I'm going to live another year by the looks of it. Every year I have to have this MOT for my life insurance, and we negotiate different deals. And yeah, interesting. It was meant to be today, but because of all the stuff that's going on, they sent out a private to my house. But yeah, anyway, enough about me. Obviously, I know a little bit about you, Robert, because we spoke. But tell everyone, for everyone that doesn't know you, give us a bit of a background on you before trading, who you are, what you're up to in life.
Sure. So in the, being as transparent as Tier 1 is, I'm 46. I've been working for a consultancy company for the last probably 25 years. And so where I am at the moment is I'm utterly burnt out. My health started to see a downturn in my health. And so I needed to get on top of that. And last November, after 8 years, I was actually fired from my job, which was a complete and utter surprise. And so I took them to court, won the unfair dismissal case. And so I'm in a I'm in a strange position for me. I'm in a position where I don't actually have a job, but I have a pot of money from the court case, which is basically giving me the opportunity to take stock of what's going on. And I've decided to completely change everything and go for a change in career. And so I've now got pretty much a given period of time to learn a new skill and learn it to the point I can start making some money. So no pressure, but we all love a challenge.
Yeah, right. So
that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. So how did you get into trading in particular?
So there was obviously a degree of panic when it all happened. And so I started looking for that shiny object, quick buck. I've got, friends that do some trading, and, they've been very successful. So I was looking for something to do that I thought I could perhaps turn around quite quickly. So I started looking at stocks, day trading stocks. I started looking at Amazon FBA. I had all this time, and I thought that I could just dive in and try and make a thing of it. Looked at the stocks. I liked it. I enjoyed it, but something wasn't quite right with it for making it my job moving forward. Amazon FBA sounded good, but wasn't convinced. So moved on from that. And then I started seeing your podcast, started listening to your podcast and seeing your YouTube channel. And what really resonated with me was that it was the transparency. It was, look, this is going to be hard. This isn't easy. This isn't a quick buck. And actually, those things are what I wanted to hear, because the person that I am is not a quick buck person. I'm a hard worker. I want to work for my money, and I want to feel proud for putting in a bit of effort to earn it. So in a weird way, I was looking for that quick buck, but you actually told me what I am.
Yeah,
which is to take the time, do it properly, and learn the skill. And that's really what resonated. So it was really listening to yourself, and there was another guy that I was listening to an awful lot as well. Rainer Teo, I think his name is, Singapore guy. But again, very straight, transparent, straight out there. This is what it is. But obviously, he lives a very long way away, and time frames might not be quite right. And what you were saying resonated with me, and that's where I started. So I actually joined. It took me 6 weeks to make the decision.
Right.
I was looking into you, looking into the platform, Kill, what your backgrounds were, looking at competitors, and I just kept on coming back. To you. So I took the plunge, and so I've been a member of Tier 1 Trading, I think, for 2 weeks now, getting on 2 weeks.
Okay, so tell us about that then. Tell us about how that's kind of your first impressions of Tier 1 and everything in there then.
So, I mean, most definitely the first thing that really resonates with me is the perceived professionalism. I think the fact that you're sitting here in an accountability session with us, I think, speaks volumes. You're putting your money where your mouth is, kind of thing. So I think that's really good. I think that the concept of the accountability session is just fantastic. Otherwise people are just spending their money, and they suddenly, it's a bit of a whim. After a month, it's like they put it in the drawer and they don't come back to it.
Yeah, it shows care for results for the customers, right?
It does, absolutely. And again, so that was something that really resonated with me. And so I'm feeling very warm and fuzzy. I'm feeling as if I'm in a good place. And then everybody that I've heard of as well, everybody seems very committed.
Yeah.
Everybody seems very committed. Everybody's putting in the hard work, and it's just, you know, that being around people with like-minded people as well. So really good. And courses, what I've seen from the courses to date, I'm 2 chapters in, and I've been learning that foundation course for about 4 or 5 days now, and I'm going through it. The action items I'm really taking my time with. So the actual concept I'm not finding difficult, but I think it was Dan that said, you know, getting that, being able to look at a chart and suddenly go, right, there's a kill zone, there's a trend, this is how I'm going to draw it, there's the complex pullback, etc. Just going through that and being able to look at charts and see it is something that I'm really starting to pick up quite quickly. Amazing. So I think I've got the methods down. I think the methods down well, and so I'm just going to continue on with it.
Excellent. And you've got a very process-driven mind, haven't you? It's very logical.
I'd like to think so. I think one of my downsides is organisation.
Right.
So I'm loving the 90-day planner.
Yeah.
I'm loving, I need these accountability sessions because everybody's saying, cut it up into chunks. Otherwise, I'm just going to go off.
Yeah.
And then I'll look back in what I don't want to do. Again, I've listened to Naomi, I've listened to Dylan, Dan, other people on the platform. They've all said, just take your time. And I think that's the key for me. So
yeah.
Hopefully I'll continue as I've begun.
Absolutely. And anyone who's kind of new as well, you know, it really pay you to get around people like Naomi, people like, George. George is just absolute legend in the community. Get your nuggets from Tony. Tony's been trading longer than I have. So he's a great guy. So it is really a great community. You know, I can't say enough about it. Obviously, I'm massively biased, but I believe 100% in what we're doing here, and you've just reaffirmed that to me. So what's the goal for you then? Let's just say, if you was to when you're to get results in trading and you're able to be a consistently profitable trader, what does that look like in your day to day? Like, how does that play a part in your life? Is it your full-time role? Is it something you use as a skill to grow wealth? Is it what's the bigger picture for you here?
So what I've done is I've really broken it down into two phases. And the reason I've had to do that is because I'm 46. I have a family, what I need to do is I need to be able to keep a roof over our heads, and I need to keep food on the table. So I think my first phase is I need to be able to. I've got this time frame where I'm in a very fortunate position where I've got a number of months that I can be without having to go and get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to make sure that I'm up and running and I've got that skill as quickly as possible so that my pot of money doesn't run out completely. If it does, it does, but I don't really want to go to the wire. So that's going to be a challenge. Bring that on. But for long term, I'm really looking at phase one, replacing the salary that I did have, and getting stable.
Yeah.
And then phase two really is where I then go, right, okay, phase two, let's kick on, and start to really start to really build that wealth. And the final goal is really to build that generational wealth background. You know, I don't come from a considerable amount of money. You know, had a good upbringing, but you know, we all had a challenge of growing up. And so what I want to be in a position to do is give my stepson and my daughter all the opportunities that I can, so that you know, so that they've got the best way forward. And I'm wanting to learn a skill. So I'm prepared at the moment. I'm prepared to do this as to do the trading as a full-time job. Phase 2, I'm open to opinion. If things kick on and I can make a bigger name for myself and provide that generational wealth moving forward for my kids, then that would be perfect. But I'm not looking for the Lambos and the huge massive houses. Not yet. I'm hoping
that's a great point. I decided yesterday I'm not going to have a car ever again. I'm just not inspired by driving, and I don't want a car, so I'm never going to have a car again. And you said just now that phase 1 is going to be is you know, you basically set phase 1, and in phase 1, part of that will have what will play a part in that is kind of reducing or controlling your living costs. And I think you said you've kind of done that, haven't you, over the last few weeks or so, or few months prior, controlling your living costs, right? So that will make that phase 1 a lot easier. It'll just ease the brain a little bit more, give you a bit more time. And obviously, if you're working to a pot of money, a buffer, if you like, the more you can reduce those costs and just literally rationalize everything and get rid of everything that you don't need, the better. I think a lot of people have realized how little they need now during this time. And I think this has almost exposed the whole keeping up with the Joneses thing, right? Because there's no Jones to keep up with now. You can't show anyone anything. You can't show off to anyone. So everyone's like, I don't need to keep up with the Joneses anymore. I'm going to get rid of all the crap that I don't want to impress other people with because no one can see it. And it's just incredible. You know, it's incredible to see how happy people are, people are right now, right? It's crazy. So where do you want to be by the end of this year, 2020?
So I want to be live by the end of the year, for most definitely. I would like to think that I'll be live before then.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm basically.
You're doing this full time. Well, aside from the family, you don't have a job, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm doing this full time. So basically, I've already got out of my lockdown time clock, body clock. So I'm up at 6:30 every morning. I'm in bed at a reasonable period of time, so I'm getting decent sleep. I'm going to use this as my job. Learning is going to be my job. I'm also just what I have found interesting is that as part of all of this, I joined a broker. So I'm actually doing demo trading already.
Right.
And I've heard some of the opinions about demo trading now, that it's not really recommended, but I think it's how you use it. And the way that I'm using demo trading is because I've got this time frame, I want to get all of the bad habits out of the way. So I use my demo trading. I set it up as $1,000, 50-to-1 ratio, doing micro lots. So I was trying to get my psychology right with from the point of view of I can't really blow it, because if I get a trade that gets me 20 pips, then I make 50p, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about trying to make a load of money. It was about trying to just see how I would react in certain situations. So I would leave trades overnight and see my trade go the other direction. So I'd lose £2 But it would frustrate me that I didn't know about the turn overnight. So I've said to myself already, I won't trade overnight.
Yeah.
Or I need to learn some rules so that I trade better overnight.
Yeah.
I wasn't using stop losses and take profits. So I would see drawdown, or I would see, I'd lose £5 when a huge move goes on. How did I feel about that? Didn't like it. Right. You need to learn how to use your stop losses properly, because you now know how that's going to feel. So I've tried to use it as a learning tool as well.
Yeah, right. To get like real world experiences ironed out, almost errors ironed out. Yeah, I mean, there is a benefit to doing that if you can like messing up order types and position sizing and missing trades and like you say, just getting some nuances and some kind of real world insights. It is good if you can do that. Obviously, the other side of that opinion is it's just kind of, it takes you away from. It's almost something else you've got to do that's kind of in the way of the learning. So that would be the argument of why not to do it, I guess.
I tend to do it early in the morning for 30 minutes, and I tend to do it late at night. So it's really just trying to embed myself in the industry. That's really where I'm taking it. So at the moment, the discipline's good. If I can catch myself, if I move into bad habits, then I'll can it. I don't want to pick up bad habits. I've come into this brand new 2 weeks. I don't want to pick up bad habits. I want to pick up the good habits.
No, right. No, good. Look, I've got a lot of confidence in you, mate. We spoke yesterday as well, and I think you're gonna. I think the way that your mind works is definitely cut out for successful trading. I can't see any problems that way. My only concern would be a time restraint, because it's kind of, there is a niggling little pressure there that might cause you to skip or jump, and you just got to be mindful of that. You've got to be aware that you've got to have a system where you say, have I learnt it? Yes. Do I understand it? Yes. Can I move on? Yes. It's almost like a 3-step question that you need to ask yourself to ensure that you actually understood everything before you move on. Could I explain it to a kid? Yes. That's kind of where you want to make sure that you've got that system in place, so that so you don't skip, so you don't generalize.
I have thought about that, and thank you for mentioning it. I'm hoping that the community will keep me grounded from that point of view. But also, I think just from my background, I'm going to document all this. So I'm going to have. I know that Naomi, I think I've seen, has done a considerable amount of documentation. I don't know about anybody else. I'm sure they've all got things as well. But that resonates with me again. So I'm thinking about putting a full pack together. Right, this is my strategy. This is, and really documenting it all, so that that could be given to you, for example, and you could look through it and go, "This is a load of rubbish." Go back to the drawing board, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent, mate. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you again. We spoke yesterday, but it's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing your progress. Definitely book on again in like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, so we can just make sure that you've done more than you're at now. You're accountable that way. You've now said you can do it even more frequently if you want, but usually 6 weeks is a good time. And mate, if you've got any queries or problems or questions, reach out in the platform. And if anyone's like Dan or like Robert or like Dylan, just literally reach out to them in the platform if you're in a similar situation, similar position. If you've overcome some of the problems that they've mentioned already, or if you've got similar goals, reach out to them. And that's what it's about. It's about kicking each other up the butt and keeping each other accountable and making sure that we all become better traders. So, Robert, thanks, mate. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
And just before we head out, what's everyone up to at the weekend? Is anyone doing anything?